Yeah, the Merrell Chameleon Arc 2 Mid Waterproof Boot.
Okay, yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah, especially among women hikers and backpackers,
Hmm.
these seem to be getting a lot of attention.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And we've got some great excerpts here that highlight all the features. And I think it'd be fun to kind of break it down,
Absolutely.
see what all the buzz is about.
Yeah. Durability, comfort, weather protection, all that good stuff.
It's more than just keeping your feet dry, right?
Right, for sure.
It's about like really elevating your whole hiking experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's just jump right in. Let's talk about durability first, because this source keeps mentioning durable construction for challenging terrain
Right.
and a flexible forefoot. So what jumps out at you when you hear those phrases?
Well, I mean, it sounds like they're really focusing on making a boot that can take a beating, something that can handle those rocky trails.
Yeah, tough terrain.
Exactly. Without, feeling like you've got bricks on your feet.
Yeah, it can't be like too clunky.
No, exactly.
So what kind of materials do you think would even go into making a boot like that?
Well, I mean, you see a lot of tough leathers
Yeah.
or, those really abrasion resistant synthetic materials.
All right.
And then it's not just about the materials themselves, but how it's all put together.
Oh, the construction.
Yeah, like reinforced toe caps, heel
Wow.
counters, stuff that really protects your feet, especially, if you're on those uneven trails, which I know I find myself on a lot.
Oh, yeah. And like, you don't want your boot just falling apart, right?
No, absolutely not.
Mid-hike.
Yeah.
But what about the flexibility part? Because,
Mm.
you think durable, you think kind of stiff, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have both?
Oh, absolutely. Like a flexible forefoot, that's super important for a comfortable hike.
Okay.
It lets your foot move naturally so you're not fighting the boot with every step.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I'm guessing they've, designed it with some strategic flex points or used materials that are, tough but still kind of bend with you.
Yeah, working with your foot, not against it.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Well, let's move on to comfort because, that's a big one for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the source mentions breathable design, women-specific cushioning, shock absorption. Almost sounds like luxurious for a hiking boot.
Yeah, who knew hiking boots could be so fancy?
Right. But like, seriously, break it down for me. What makes these features so special?
Well, let's start with breathability.
Okay.
Because it really is about way more than just, avoiding sweaty feet.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be more than that.
It's about like managing moisture, keeping your feet at a good temperature, to prevent blisters and just general discomfort.
Yeah.
They mentioned a mesh upper in lining,
Right.
so I'm thinking that's probably a key part of how they get that ventilation going.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, no one wants soggy feet, right?
No, absolutely not.
But let's talk about this women's specific cushioning.
Right.
Is that like a real thing?
Oh, it totally is.
Okay.
Women's feet are often different from men's feet.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that.
Yeah, like narrower heels, higher arches, things like that.
Right.
And I bet that Q-Form Comfort EVA midsole that they mention, I bet that plays a big role.
Okay.
EVA it's a really lightweight shock absorbing foam.
Okay.
And that Q-Form technology, I'm thinking they're shaping and molding that foam to really give support exactly where women need it.
So it's like having a custom insole built right into the boot.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this all sounds great. But what about shock absorption? Because I think about those downhill sections.
Yeah.
And, my knees are not as young as they used to be.
Oh, yeah, I feel you.
So how does this Merrell Air cushion that they talk about, how does it actually work to, like, lessen that impact?
It's actually really cool. So imagine you've got this little air pocket in your heel, and every time you step, it compresses.
Okay.
That's basically what the Merrell air cushion does.
Oh.
It absorbs that shock so your joints don't have to.
Oh, that's so smart.
It makes for a much smoother, more comfortable ride.
So it's not just about, like, impact, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well-
does it contribute to anything else?
Oh, absolutely. It's also about stability.
Oh, okay.
When you reduce that jarring impact, you're a lot less likely to twist an ankle or, lose your balance, especially going downhill.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's kind of like 2 for 1.
Exactly.
You get the comfort and the safety.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on. Weather protection. Got to talk about that. And they mention a waterproof membrane,
Right.
which seems, pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, it's like a barrier against the wet stuff.
Exactly. But how do they make a boot waterproof without it feeling like, a plastic bag on your foot?
It's all about the membrane technology.
Right.
They use these really thin layers of material that have tiny little pores So they're small enough that water droplets can't get through,
Okay.
but they're big enough to let water vapor escape.
Oh, wow. So it's waterproof but breathable somehow?
Exactly, like magic.
That's amazing.
It is.
Okay, so is there like a downside?
Yeah.
Could it ever be too waterproof?
It's a trade-off, right? You get waterproof, but yeah, it can make your boots a bit warmer.
Yep.
So, I mean, in super hot, humid weather, you might feel it a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think for most hiking situations,
Yeah.
it strikes a good balance.
Yeah, it's about picking the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
Speaking of tools, we haven't talked about traction.
Oh, right.
The source mentions 5.5 millimeter lugs.
Okay.
Can you translate that for us non-technical folks?
Yeah, so lugs are those little knobby things on the bottom of your boot.
Okay.
They grip the ground.
Right.
And 5.5 millimeter, that's a decent depth.
Okay.
It tells me that these boots are probably meant for moderate to, pretty rugged terrain.
Yep.
The deeper the lugs, the better the grip on loose surfaces like mud and gravel.
Makes sense.
But they might not be as comfy on those smooth trails.
Oh, so it's like choosing the right tires for your car.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want off-road tires on a sports car, right?
Right.
It's all about finding the best fit for how you hike and where you're going.
Yeah. And I love how these boots take all that into consideration.
Me too.
Like from the durability to the comfort to the weather protection.
And especially all the features they've included specifically for women's feet.
Yeah.
It's great to see that level of attention to detail. And, it can make a big difference out on the trail.
Yeah. Huge difference. So for all you listeners out there, think about this. What kind of hiker are you?
Yeah.
What terrain do you tackle most?
Good question.
What are your priorities when it comes to comfort and performance? Because finding that perfect boot,
Right.
it really is about understanding those things.
Yeah. Do your research.
And let us know if you decide to give these boots a try.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you think.
Happy hiking, everyone.
Happy hiking.